Hi, Roger. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So, can you tell us the story of your brand and the story behind the product?
Well, sure. I guess it all started with our my co-founder, Genway. He's an environmental scientist, and we're having a conversation one day, and he pitched this idea of producing spirulina.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, that's pretty neat. I was familiar with spirulina. I'd consumed it before as this horrible powdered product, and I wasn't really too sure what to think about that. That's my cat, pardon him. Um, but he went ahead and he actually grew some at home, very small scale. And I remember that very first sample I tried of it. It was the raw, fresh live spirulina. We harvested it at home. And at that moment, Spira Veg was born. It was just such a pleasant tasting experience. And it was just like, wow, this is fantastic. Spirulina doesn't have to taste bad anymore, you know?
Oh, that sounds
So
good.
from there, yeah, it was amazing. So, I mean, to me, food's always been my medicine. I've always believed in that. And it's been my whole philosophy throughout my entire life. And then suddenly to have something so beneficial as spirulina to be in such a palatable form, it was just like, wow, look, we have to do this.
Yeah. So, you sound really passionate about this particular product.
Well, I mean, in the beginning, I had an idea that spirulina was good for us, but I had really not the depth of knowledge of it as I do now. And the more research I do, the more I realize how much everyone needs to eat spirulina. It's just so beneficial. I even give it to my cats. I mean,
Oh,
it's amazing. So yeah, I mean, making it in a form that's available to so many people is what's really our priority. It's so important for everybody to get this into their body. And the biggest thing we found is educating people. So many people don't even know about spirulina.
hmm.
Other ones that do, the health aware people, they're used to that powder, and that's all that's ever been available. That typical powder you find at your average health food store.
Hmm.
So just producing a product that's so beneficial and such a clean, pure product has just been our priority.
Yeah, it sounds really different from other products on the market. Can you tell us why it's different or how it's different?
Yeah, certainly. Like spirulina has probably been in North America, I would say, on a commercial scale, probably about 50 years. And it's always been in a powdered form. When we first started our company, we were offering it as a live, raw, fresh product.
Hmm.
Now that has its challenges, but also advantages. We were sort of limited on a local scale because of the perishable nature of it. It had to be refrigerated. So from there, we decided, okay, let's do frozen cubes. And that opened up the retail market to us because we could, deliver it to a store that has a freezer and they could sell the frozen product. And then now more recently, we've just offered the freeze-dried product. So now anybody that has courier service or mail delivery can receive our freeze-dried powder. Now, the unique thing about just our product, and it's how it's grown. That's the biggest difference. Now, I would say probably the majority of all the spirulina you would find in the market is grown in outdoor ponds, U-shaped ponds, just circulating in subtropical environments. Spirulina likes to be warm, so it's very excluded to those warm areas of the world. And it's very economical to grow it in outdoor settings because you have natural light and heat and everything else. The unfortunate thing is about that, when it's grown outside, you have no control over the environmental contaminants that have access to it. Your source water, any contaminants coming in from the air. And there's so many unknowns and there's so many contaminants that are found in commercially available spirulina powders. And we've had feedback from customers that have done their own testing. One customer even found thallium in
Oh,
his very well-known brand name product coming from, maybe another country that doesn't have the same standards that maybe we do here in North America. So
mhm.
it's very concerning, and the quality that you can find in a product that you believe to be so beneficial and yet can be so harming. So with our process, we grow it indoors, we control the environment, it's pristine, and it's very unique. It's our own technology that my co-founder, who's an environmental scientist, he's the brain behind the whole production end of it. He's been able to develop this system that allows us to produce some of the highest quality spirulina you can find anywhere in the world.
Sounds
So,
fantastic. Is it organic? Of course it's organic.
well, it's not certified organic.
Mhm.
Get that question a lot. And it's
Yeah.
something we looked into. And the certification process in Canada anyways, required us to use some nutrient sources that essentially are bird droppings
Oh,
as the nitrogen source. And if you're growing your vegetables or flowers, etc., bird droppings are great. They're fantastic. They work good in a soil setting. But as soon as you introduce that into a water system, like our spirulina is basically growing in water, and it's aquaculture.
mhm.
Now, as soon as you introduce the bird droppings into that system, you now have this vast variety of other organisms growing in there besides spirulina, and that would just essentially contaminate our the final product, which is not really of interest to us. So
Mhm.
we just decided to drop that, and our focus has just been on as pure, as clean as possible, the highest quality. So we've done some third-party testing, lab testing, confirming the heavy metals, which is very commonly found in many different brands of spirulina. Ours is untraceable of any heavy metal. We don't use any pesticides, herbicides. There's no chance of any contaminants in there. So to us, organic is great.
Mhm.
I the more I look into it, the more I realize it's kind of more of a marketing keyword.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be organic to be good, but certain things, yes, like maybe strawberries, yeah, you might want to focus on strawberries being organic. They're not going to have sprayed chemicals on them, but not everything has to be organic to be good. So that was my experience through that process.
Oh, it makes so
So
much sense. I mean, your product sounds really pure, really natural, really amazing, actually. And can I ask you a little bit more about who should be or who could be using this product?
well, that's a good question. There has been when I get that question, first thing I think is everybody and anyone should be consuming it. But
Hmm.
obviously, everyone's different. We all have unique situations. And the other complication is medicines. Now, I'm not a medical expert, and I'm not going to pretend to advise on who should or who shouldn't based on that, because there could always be that complication with different interactions with medicine. I
Right.
think one of the most ones that come up a lot is the blood thinners. There could be a potential interaction with people on warfarin and those type of things. So it's
Mhm.
always wise to just check with your physician. And my neighbor friend, she was just diagnosed with breast cancer. Unfortunately, her doctor, not being aware of spirulina, said, no, don't take it. But there's a number of clinical studies proving the efficacy and benefits of using spirulina. So listen to your doctor, but also do your own homework. It's always wise.
Mhm. So nutritionally, it's full of B vitamins, is it, and protein, or yeah.
Yep. There's 65 different minerals and vitamins found in spirulina. So it makes it one of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet.
Amazing.
Protein,
Hmm.
ours, we reported at about 70%, but technically it's about 80% plant-based protein. That's a
Wow.
complete protein, so all of the amino acids are present, and it's very bioavailable. In other words, it's digestible. So it's something our body recognizes. It's
Wow.
whole food. So I mean, you just cannot find a better food to be putting into your body on a daily basis.
Okay, you've convinced me. I have to try it now. And
Yeah.
that brings me to how do we find or how do we actually take this product?
Hmm. Well, like I had mentioned earlier, we have the three formats: the raw, fresh,
Yeah.
the frozen cube, and now recently the freeze dried. Um,
Mhm.
I, I I really like the freeze dried product. It's convenient in so many formats. I mean, reasons. I mean, first of all, this is the package right here. It's a 2 gram pack.
Wow.
It's very small,
Yeah.
but if you take, the 2 grams doesn't sound like a lot, but this is equivalent to 1 tablespoon of the raw fresh. Now
Okay.
we process it on our site with our machine, a freeze drying process, and that 1 tablespoon turns into essentially 2 grams, or I don't know what that word, it measures out to about a teaspoon maybe.
Hmm.
So I like this because it's shelf stable. I can send this to anyone, anywhere in the world, essentially. I just drop it in the mail. I can put it in the courier. It's very convenient. I can throw this into my glove box. I can throw it in my suitcase, my backpack. I can forget about it for 2 weeks. I can forget about it for 2 years. As soon as I open that up, boom, it's as nutritious day one as it is on 10 years from now.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's a game changer, really. You know, being familiar with powdered spirulina, I was always shy about that flavor. That's the uniqueness about this, is that there is no taste, no flavor. I don't know if you can see the details. That's a vacuum sealed pack. So by vacuum sealing the nutrients aren't exposed to oxygen, which neutralize the antioxidants. Forgot to mention, spirulina is exceptionally high in antioxidants, which is probably one of the best reasons why we would want to be eating spirulina on a daily basis. The added vitamins and minerals, of course, it's great, but the antioxidants are what heal us. And to have this little pack, just whenever you feel that need, boom. And one of my favorite ways of doing it is you just open it up and dump it in.
Really?
It's just amazing. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's just that convenient. Now, I mean, obviously, you know, you may want to try it with water or just to appreciate the flavor. But honestly, we were just out for a hike on the weekend. We had a few of these in the backpack, got halfway into the trail, and I was like, oh, I could use a little boost. Boom, I just open it up and dump it in. And wow, have a drink of water. And I just had like a total boost of energy. I felt great again. So,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, so you could even put it in like smoothies or something like that too. Would that be?
Yeah, it's very common to mix it in smoothies. That's probably the most traditional way. You know, smoothies, mix it with juice. Some people will sprinkle it on popcorn, onto a salad. That's the advantage of this. Again, with the powder, it gives you a lot more diversity in ways of using it. The fresh product is great. Some people eat it just right out of the jar. Actually, I happen to have a jar here to show you. Yes, here is raw, fresh spirulina.
Yeah, nice.
And it's sealed up. And essentially, it's like a green tomato paste. It's very thick. Yeah.
Interesting. So how would people actually take that?
Well, again, some people, a friend of mine, he prefers this right off the spoon. He just takes right out of the jar, into the mouth, the way he goes. He's good for the day.
Nice.
Myself, I'm not a fan of that. I do mix it with a little bit of water, sometimes a little, you know, a splash of apple juice just to give it some flavor. It is pretty much odorless and tasteless. The freeze-dried product would have a very mild nutty flavor, maybe, or similar to cereal. It's hard to describe. Very neutral. I've never experienced anything like that in any other product of spirulina available. So to say that spirulina is odorless and tasteless, people look at me like, what? What do you mean?
I seriously have never experienced that before myself. So
yeah. When we would do a lot of farmers markets in the beginning and special health shows, those type of events, and people would read the sign, odorless and tasteless. They wouldn't believe us. And they'd come up, we have a little sample sitting on the table, and they would take their shot and they'd be like really nervous, like literally shaking, you know, expecting this blast of horribleness. And they'd be like, wow, they'd be smiling and just like, hey,
full of energy.
it's so important. Yeah. It was just amazing.
So do you have a personal experience or a testimonial you'd like to share about this product?
Sure. For me, when we first started producing this on a large enough scale that I had enough for myself to trying it, our daughter was just starting into preschool. And with that exposure to, you know, the viruses coming back home, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm getting a cold, or you know, the symptoms are very sniffles, and it seemed like every 3-4 months I was getting a cold. And I was like, wow, what's going on? And then I started taking spirulina regularly. And the next thing you know, it was almost 1.5 years went by and I had nothing whatsoever.
Wow.
Like zero. So for me, the only thing I could contribute to was the fact that the only thing changed was the spirulina, you know, the intake. So it proved to me that it's a definite good thing, boosting my immune system. It was keeping me healthy. And then I realized that I had a I wouldn't say a knee injury, but it was kind of an irritant. It would flare up every month or two, and maybe once or twice throughout the ski season because I'm a downhill skier. And it would just be kind of annoying. I'd notice it when I'm going up the stairs, and it would bother me for a couple of days, and then it would go away. It was never diagnosed. I never had surgery, anything like that. But it's been 3 years now, and I have not had any indication of any discomfort in my knee whatsoever.
Wow.
So, and the only thing that the only thing I've introduced that's new is spirulina on a regular basis.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah. So that, led me down the path of doing some more research, and they always say that, yes, it's good for your immune system. It's great for boosting that. It's a huge anti-inflammatory. I read it. I've experienced it personally. Now, a number of our customers, they've given us testimonial feedback, and it's such a variety of different conditions and how it's helped people. It's just amazing. So I have no question in the benefits of this with people. It's been so rewarding.
Such a good feeling, eh?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Yeah. It's just so in line with what I believe in and what I've been all about.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where can we find the product, Roger?
I would say probably your best source would be to go directly to our website, www.spiraveg.com. So it's SPIRAVEG.com.
Okay.
And on there, depending on the courier service, larger centers, and depending on the region in Canada, we can ship the raw fresh. The powdered, the freeze-dried product, here's our actual package. Anyways, this is the package that it comes in. This can be mailed to you. So if you have mail delivery, I can get this to your door. No problem. So through our website's really the best form at this point in time.
Okay, fantastic.
And, explore your options from there.
Good. And any final words that you have for anyone watching or about the product?
With the freeze-dried product, we do have an introductory sample pack. So if you're a little hesitant, if you've experienced spirulina in the past and you think, ooh, I don't know if I want to do that, try out our trial pack. It's $5. You get 3 of these little pouches in the mail, and it's delivered $5. You get a try, you like it, boom, come back and order a big bag.
Sounds great. You've convinced me. I'll be looking for it for sure. Excellent. So thank you so much, Roger, for taking your time out today and joining us.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.